Hello, we are live. We're here to talk about, I'm Rachel and this is Benzie, and we're here to talk about the fasting course that is happening tomorrow at, this is my job, at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So it's a free course, and we're going to talk about the different aspects of not of asking of fasting, the different aspects of fasting, what the basic foundations are. We'll talk about different forms of fasting, and then Benzie will lead us into some fasting in relationship to our hormones. So I'm excited. I hope you guys come out. Um, and I'm just gonna, Ben, did you want to add anything to that before I jump into kind of asking you and drilling you with some questions here? Okay, cool. For some reason you went away, but now you're here, so that's what matters. All right, cool. So, for this fasting course, the main point is so that people can get an overview of what fasting could look like for themselves. And one of the questions I have for you is, how long have you been fasting? Um, Tell me your experience with fasting so far.
Yeah, so I've been fasting on and off since like 2016. I got into it when I was eating full carnivore. I was just eating like a load of meat once a day and then not at all in between. And then I've really enjoyed fasting in other ways of eating too. I don't do that anymore. But uh, yeah, and then I like the flexibility of it over time. I feel like it really goes. I'm a little bit of a like I like to travel and go with the flow. So I feel like fasting really fits a flexible lifestyle, which is important for me.
Ooh, I like that. I want to piggyback off that thought. So, talking about lifestyle, when you say flexible lifestyle, what does that really mean? What does a flexible lifestyle with fasting look like?
Yeah, so for me, it's I have like regular routines that feel good, but I just had a friend visit for 4 days who is a super like foodie. So I feel like it was easy to say, oh, I get to have a little to be flexible and eat differently for 4 days. Um, and then go back now to my regular eating, and it doesn't feel like a jolt or a big transition. And it's also good for like vacations or holidays, things like that.
Okay. And so, a lot of times when like fasting comes into play, it's kind of looked at, right? So let's just here's some outside perspective, but it can be looked at as like something that has to be completely structured. You must follow the rules. This is how you have to do it all the time. And then if you can't do it in this way, like just don't do it. It's not worth it. But I hear you saying flexible, right? So does it have to be perfect for it to feel good? Does it like what is perfect even? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's kind of a personality question more than a fasting question because there's I think there's types of people who like there to be like a lot of rules and never want to color outside the lines of like a diet routine or eating exercise routine. For me, I really care about creating if then statements in my life, in my mind. And so it can be more like a flow chart of like, depending what's going on, I know the best choices for me. So for me, a following it perfectly includes that I can break it and live a fun, fulfilling life that where I'm not controlled by my food, and instead I'm like I get both physical fuel and joy and social interaction, like all those things I feel like are important nourishment for my life and body, and food interacts with all those. So I want to make sure it's working for me and I'm not working for it. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, totally a personality question. I'm just like indirectly pretending that it has to do with fasting. Um, I want to know what mental changes has fasting caused for you?
Yeah.
if any?
The biggest thing for me is I've had a pretty much like a lifelong struggle with binge eating. And part of that, I mean, there's probably a million reasons, right? But one of the things that gives me like the satisfaction of binge eating is like a really full feeling stomach. So one thing I really love about fasting and feasting, and really what I like to do is like a big one meal a day type eating, and I still get that like really solid, full feeling that gives me like emotional comfort that I like without um, binging all day or feeling like I have like failed and then going into like a binge spiral. I haven't had that problem in years, luckily. So, and I feel like moving to one meal a day and fasting is a big part of that. Another piece of why it helps mentally is I feel like the less food decisions I'm making throughout the day takes away the amount of chances I have to spiral. Because it's just like the decision isn't what to eat, how much to eat, and how am I going to cook it and how am I going to get it. It's just like, oh, am I eating right now? Am I not eating right now? Like the decision is just like once a day and sometimes way in advance, you know, if I'm on my regular schedule. So,
Yeah.
uh, whether to eat or not is an easier question to ask for me than like the, I feel like 100 questions that happen when I am about to eat.
Right, like
So,
what is going to be eaten? How will it be cooked? Is it in the fridge? How much do I eat? Right? Um,
yeah.
so that response, right, and even hearing like one meal a day, can sound challenging, right? Like the whole concept of fasting can be quite challenging for people, including myself. So even thinking like, sometimes I think like, oh my God, it's a fast day. Like, will I ever eat again? What are some challenges that you face that you faced with fasting, if any, like that, or if any?
Yeah, definitely in the beginning, uh, especially dealing with like carb and sugar addiction. Uh, it's like a weaning process. It's like quitting smoking cigarettes or something. You are moody and annoyed, but that is like your body transitioning from addiction behavior. And I still eat carbs and sugar, you know, but now it's not like all the time or a dependency. And I do think it's really important. I don't fast all of the time because I also want my body to be able to flexibly move back and forth from states of burning mostly glucose and states of burning fat. So the whole point to me is making sure my body like can do both and isn't upset or freaking out no matter which state I'm giving it access to at that time,
Hmm.
which I think just takes practice.
Yeah. How often do you switch between the states? Like, how often do you fast and how often do you not fast?
Yeah, so I'll get more into the exact details of how that looks tomorrow, but I line it up with where I am and my hormone cycle in my 28-day menstrual system. So I fast pretty heavily all the way from the day I'm bleeding till the first day of my luteal phase, which is when your like progesterone is happening. So that needs more food and to be in more like the glucose burning state. So usually about 3 weeks, I'm doing a more fasted state, and then that about week before my period, I do low fasting. So I'll eat more and eat more carbs. So,
Okay, cool. And
yeah.
so just like Benzie was talking about, tomorrow, if and when you attend our event, our course tomorrow, we'll get deeper. We, as in Benzie, will get deeper about her hormone fasting cycle and the info behind the hormone fasting cycle. And I'll walk you guys through what intermittent fasting is, what fasting is, different modalities, what are the health benefits, how it's going to help you feel more energized, feel more confident in your food decisions, have less food decisions, how you can implement it in your life without feeling super as I described in the beginning of this, like super rigid, right? And a lot of us folks, I'm just going to call us all out here. A lot of us health folks are quite rigid. When we have, we're really dogmatic about like when we have our way, this is how you do it. So hopefully it can shine. Benzie's laughing because maybe you know how true it is. Um, maybe like this can be an opportunity to shine some light around fasting for you. So where you can implement it as much as you like, as little as you like, with the rhythm of your body, and just find out more information. So this course is free for everybody. And if you sign up, there's a link attached in this event. Also, if you go to racheldetroitcoaching.com, there's a link under events to subscribe. And everybody who signs up for the event will also receive a recording. Here I am throwing the pitch out. But just so you guys know of how to find it, and we'll go into the nitty gritty of all of this stuff. And if you have any specific questions, you can drop them in the chat. Benzie, I want to lead us out with this question. I'm going to lead us out with another question. Unless, do you have anything else to add before I do our final question here?
Ready.
Okay, I just want to know, I want to end with the success. Tell me what are the biggest successes or even smallest successes that you felt with your fasting journey?
Yeah, definitely. I feel the like overcoming binge eating is huge for me. I feel like it has well, I guess it's hard because I think like once you start getting into health stuff, like I'm really into breathing and movement and the way I eat and what I eat. So I do think it's difficult to say like fasting did this one specific thing for me, but for me, fasting has been definitely like a positive Lego block in my overall like improvement of mind and body and spirit. So
Love it. Cool.
yeah.
All right. Well, Benzie, thanks for jumping on. And if you haven't signed up for the course, please do click the link. And we'll be on tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Take
Very
good care.
good.